11 Powerful Mindsets to Accelerate Your Path to Success. Welcome to the Think Big channel. Ordinary people change results. Exceptional individuals change causes. But true masters transform the way they think. Stanford University psychology professor Carol Dweck, in her groundbreaking research on lifelong growth, revealed this key insight: the difference between people doesn't lie in talent or effort, it's rooted in mindset. A person's mindset sets the ultimate boundaries of their life's potential. Below are 11 transformative mindsets that, if cultivated and applied, can drastically shorten your journey to success compared to others. Mindset number 1: Adaptive thinking. Did you know a single droplet of rain weighs about 50 times more than a mosquito? In terms of force, a droplet falling on a mosquito is comparable to a bus crashing into a person. Yet, during rainy days, most mosquitoes seem to glide effortlessly through the storm. How is that possible? An American professor used high-speed cameras to capture the fascinating moments mosquitoes escape rain impacts. When a droplet hits a mosquito's wings or legs, it doesn't resist but instead tilts itself in alignment with the droplet's direction, then shifts its posture to let the droplet slide off its body. Remarkably, mosquito bodies are coated with a water-repellent material, similar to lotus leaves, allowing them to shed water by simply flexing their wings and legs. Even when struck by a droplet, mosquitoes go with the flow, falling momentarily with the force before swiftly adjusting their posture to separate and resume flight. The lesson from mosquitoes is a continuous ability to adapt, which allows them to thrive under harsh conditions. This concept also echoes Darwin's theory of evolution: the species that survive are not the strongest or the smartest, but those most responsive to change. Andy Grove, co-founder of Intel, introduced a crucial principle: change at a rate 10 times faster. He asserted that external changes are always at least 10 times faster than we anticipate. In today's world, countless once stable jobs have disappeared, and numerous thriving industries are being disrupted by technology and artificial intelligence. In this era of constant motion, stability doesn't mean standing still, it means adapting faster than anyone else. If you're not actively driving change, you risk being left behind. Before diving into the next transformative mindsets, don't forget to follow the channel for more insights that can help you achieve financial freedom faster. Mindset number 2: Probabilistic thinking. During World War II, a statistical research team at Columbia University was tasked with analyzing data to develop strategies that could minimize aircraft losses. They discovered that bullet holes on aircraft parts weren't evenly distributed. This led to the hypothesis that reinforcing the most frequently hit areas would increase the chances of survival. At first glance, this idea seemed logical. But the brilliant mathematician Abraham Wald challenged it. He argued that the parts with the fewest bullet holes, especially the engines, were the ones that needed reinforcement. Wald explained that, statistically, every part of the aircraft had an equal chance of being hit. So why were there fewer bullet holes on the engines? Simply because planes struck in the engines didn't make it back. In contrast, planes that landed had bullet holes in non-critical areas like wings or fuselage, parts that didn't hinder their ability to fly. This thinking is similar to hospital observations where more patients are treated for leg injuries than chest wounds. It's not because legs are more vulnerable, but because individuals shot in the chest often don't survive to reach the hospital. Most people only notice planes that returned with bullet holes. But true masters perceive the invisible bullet holes, the planes that didn't make it back. This is the essence of probabilistic thinking. Legendary investor Charlie Munger compared wisdom in investing to fishing. Throughout life, we face 3 critical questions. Probabilistic thinking helps us answer these questions with clarity, enabling better decisions in life and work. Mindset number 3: Leveraged thinking. In the 1990s, the British Library faced a daunting challenge: how to move over 13 million books from its old facility in London to a new location in St. Pancras without incurring astronomical costs. The estimated cost of transportation was a staggering £3.5 million. If you were the library manager, what would you do? Hire cheaper labor. Cut transportation expenses. With such a massive workload, every solution seemed like a drop in the bucket. So, what would someone with a high-level mindset do? A young library employee approached the management team and proposed a solution. I have a plan, and it'll only cost £150,000. The next day, the employee published an announcement in the press. Starting today, the British Library will offer free, unlimited access to all citizens. To assist with our relocation, please return borrowed books to the new library location at St. Pancras. The result? 90% of the books were naturally relocated to the new site, at just a fraction of the original budget. Lesson learned: people with a leveraged mindset don't solve problems through brute force or money, they approach them by shifting perspectives and intelligently utilizing available resources. As the book, Genius on the Left, Lunatic on the Right, insightfully states. If thinking is a wall, then the world lies on the other side of the wall. Life never presents true dead ends, the only obstacle is your own rigid thinking. When faced with challenges and feelings of being stuck, change your approach. Who knows? The light at the end of the tunnel could be right in front of you. Mindset number 4, four-dimensional thinking. Michael Simons, a best-selling American author, spent 5 years studying self-made billionaires. He discovered a striking commonality among the most successful entrepreneurs: they all possessed what he called four-dimensional thinking. While most people operate in one-dimensional thinking, confined to their areas of expertise, these great founders see the world across time, from the past to the future, spanning decades to make sound decisions. The distinction between one-dimensional and four-dimensional thinking is clear. Examples in action. The lesson: a clear vision acts like a lighthouse, guiding the way. With a well-defined goal. Don't overestimate what you can achieve in a year, and don't underestimate the transformations that can happen in a decade. Stay true to what needs to be done, and time will reveal the answers. Mindset number 5, upstream thinking. In a reality show, top programmers in the country were asked a thought-provoking question. What's the biggest challenge in your profession? You might expect their answers to revolve around writing better code, mastering more programming languages, or tackling complex algorithms. But no. The experts all gave the same answer: understanding needs. They understood that programming isn't just about writing code, it's about deeply comprehending the real needs behind every line of code. Here's a real-world example from the vice president of Tencent. When he worked at Google, he was tasked with improving the conversion rate from search to ad clicks. The challenge? Conversion rates in China were exceptionally low. The business team proposed a solution. At first glance, these ideas seemed reasonable. But instead of implementing them right away, he and his team asked an essential question. What's the core problem you're trying to solve? After deeper investigation, they uncovered a surprising truth. Popular websites in China often had too many banner ads at the top of the page. This led users to instinctively skip the top section and scroll straight down. Since Google Ads appeared at the very top, users simply overlooked them. The solution? Move the ads to the bottom of the page. The result? Conversion rates skyrocketed. Key takeaway. Exceptional engineers don't just write code, they excel at uncovering the true needs of the people behind the code. This is the essence of upstream thinking, focusing not on superficial solutions, but on tackling the root causes of the problem. Mindset number 6, the lazy ant effect. At Hokkaido University in Japan, a team of evolutionary biology researchers conducted an experiment with 3 groups of ants, each consisting of 30 ants, to study how they distributed tasks. They observed that the researchers marked these lazy ants and continued monitoring them. When the colony's food supply was cut off, something surprising happened. The truth? These ants weren't lazy at all. They spent their time observing, scouting, and analyzing the situation, rather than diving headfirst into tasks mindlessly. This phenomenon is called the lazy ant effect, a well-known principle in psychology and strategic management. Are you caught in the busy ant trap? Psychologist Jordan Peterson proposed a self-checklist. If any of these resonate with you, it's time to make a change. Hard work is important, but smart work is the true key to success. Don't just keep your head down and charge forward, lift your gaze to see the bigger picture and chart a clearer path. Mindset number 7, environmental framing. In the mid-19th century, psychologist Kurt Koffka introduced the concept of environmental framing, dividing the external world into two types. The story of the man crossing Lake Constance. One winter night, amidst a fierce snowstorm, a man on horseback arrived at an inn, relieved to find shelter. The innkeeper asked, "Where have you come from?" The man pointed outside to the snow-covered path he had traveled. The innkeeper gasped in horror and said, "Do you realize? You just rode across Lake Constance." Upon hearing this, the man was so shocked that he collapsed at the innkeeper's feet. The lesson. While crossing the lake, the man believed it was merely a snow-covered field, so he felt no fear. But once he realized he had ridden over a frozen lake, his perception instantly overwhelmed him with terror. The geographical environment didn't change, only his perspective did. Your environment shapes you. We are products of our surroundings. Want to change yourself? Change your environment first. Here are some ways to adjust your surroundings for self-growth. If you're dissatisfied with your current life, start transforming your environment today. Mindset number 8, the power of pivoting, knowing when to walk away. Not every wall is worth crashing into. Life offers multiple paths, and there is no rule that says you must stick to one, even when it's leading nowhere. Sometimes, the best way to take responsibility for your life is to know when to change direction. Take the story of Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful and influential figures in America. Early in her career, she worked as a news anchor for a local station. She gave it her all, but before long, her manager bluntly told her, "You're not fit for news. You're too emotional, too empathetic with your guests." They fired her. Many people might have fought to stay or tried to prove themselves in a job that wasn't the right fit. But Oprah didn't. Instead, she pivoted to talk shows, an arena where her deep emotions and ability to connect with people became her greatest strengths. The result? She created The Oprah Winfrey Show, one of the most successful television programs in history, turning her into a billionaire and an inspiration to millions worldwide. Knowing when to walk away is a form of wisdom. This lesson doesn't just apply to careers, it's just as crucial in relationships. Sandra Bullock, the Academy Award-winning actress, once seemed to have found true love with Jesse James, a famous media personality. Their marriage looked perfect on the surface, but then Sandra discovered that Jesse had been cheating on her repeatedly. At first, she tried to forgive, hoping he would change. But eventually, she realized that some things cannot be fixed. Instead of clinging to a toxic relationship, she chose to walk away. She focused on her career, adopted children, and built a fulfilling life on her own terms. Meanwhile, Jesse James continued down a path of scandals, and his reputation and career crumbled. Walking away isn't failure, it's freedom. Oprah and Sandra Bullock's stories teach a powerful lesson: not all persistence leads to success. Sometimes, the smartest move is to pivot rather than stubbornly charge into a dead end. Life doesn't always go as planned, and not every obstacle is meant to be fought. Walking away at the right moment is not giving up, it's opening the door to a better path. Always remember, nothing is more valuable than your own well-being, and you always have the right to choose a different direction. Mindset number 9, the fulfilling mentality. If you can't solve the problem, you are the problem. Brian Chesky, CEO of Airbnb, once said, "Once a decision is made, my job is not just to stand by it but to turn it into the right decision." A person's success is determined by their ability to solve problems, whether in work or life. The mindset of filling gaps is the ultimate competitive advantage. Writer David Miller once shared a memorable story. When he had just joined a major tech company, only 3 days into the job, the assistant to the CEO suddenly called him into an important meeting. As soon as he stepped into the room, without even understanding what was happening, the CEO bluntly confronted him. "You're in charge of the company's online platform, right? This website is a disaster. I want a brand new version launched in 30 days. David was stunned. He had only been there for 3 days and had nothing to do with the platform's operations. But he quickly realized that this was a tough test from the higher-ups. Many people might have backed down, but David simply nodded and got to work. For the next month, he worked relentlessly, planning content, finding technical experts, coordinating the UI/UX design team, and overseeing the entire process. Right on schedule, a brand new version of the website launched, exceeding expectations. The CEO was highly impressed and soon discovered that David was never responsible for the platform in the first place. This only made him stand out even more. Shortly after, he was promoted to head of product and named Employee of the Year. In just over a month, from being a new hire, David became a trusted and valued team member thanks to his outstanding ability to fill gaps. He later shared that every challenge he faced was an opportunity to sharpen his problem-solving skills, build resilience, and develop a strong mindset. Over time, he became someone who could naturally handle any difficulty, laying a solid foundation for his future success. Work is never a smooth road, it is a series of gaps that must be filled. How you handle these gaps determines how far you will go. When faced with challenges, outstanding individuals always look for solutions, while mediocre ones look for excuses. The difference between success and failure, between a leader and someone left behind, lies in a person's ability to fill the gap. Mindset number 10, the solid barrel theory. Don't let your weaknesses undermine your strengths. Truly intelligent people not only recognize their strengths but are also aware of their weaknesses. Instead of fixating on flaws, they focus on maximizing their strengths and finding opportunities to shine. Here's the story of Otto Wallach, a renowned German scientist. When Otto was young, his parents wanted him to study literature. Despite his diligence, Otto had no interest in the subject. After one semester, his teacher wrote to his parents, saying, "Otto Wallach is hardworking but inflexible. Someone like him, no matter how virtuous, cannot thrive in the field of literature." Otto's parents then encouraged him to pursue painting. However, his art teacher soon concluded that Otto lacked talent in this area. His work failed to garner any attention. These repeated failures crushed Otto's confidence. Then, a kind chemistry teacher suggested, "You're meticulous and have a knack for practical work. Why not try chemistry?" From that point on, Otto's abilities flourished. He quickly became a standout talent in the field of chemistry. In 1910, Otto Wallach won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his groundbreaking work on synthesizing artificial fragrances. The takeaway: human intellectual development is inherently uneven, each person has unique strengths and weaknesses. Weaknesses can act as obstacles and limit our growth. However, smart individuals know how to leverage their strengths and navigate around their weaknesses, paving the way for greater opportunities and smoother paths in life. Mindset number 11, the empty cup mindset. Sometimes, resetting your life requires emptying your mind. There's a well-known story about a young entrepreneur full of ambition. After his startup failed, he constantly blamed the economy and external circumstances. One day, following his parents' advice, he decided to seek wisdom from a renowned master of philosophy and personal growth, Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now. Upon arriving, he was greeted by one of Tolle's students. However, with arrogance, he dismissed the student and said, "I don't need a student to guide me. I want to meet the master himself." Shortly after, Eckhart Tolle appeared, calmly inviting him in. As they talked, Tolle began pouring tea. Even after the cup was full, he continued to pour, letting the tea overflow. The young man, puzzled, asked, "The cup is already full, why are you still pouring?" Tolle smiled and replied, "Exactly. When a cup is full, you cannot pour more tea. Your mind is the same. If it is already filled with preconceived notions and past failures, how can you absorb new lessons? Those words struck him like lightning. For the first time, he realized that his own arrogance and attachment to past failures had been blocking his growth. The empty cup mindset of highly successful people. Even after winning an Oscar and achieving an illustrious career, actor Leonardo DiCaprio has never stopped learning. When working with legendary director Martin Scorsese, he never became complacent. Instead, he constantly observed and listened to the young actors around him. Once, a colleague asked him, "You've already reached the pinnacle of Hollywood. Why do you still carefully watch others perform?" DiCaprio smiled and replied, "Because I always see myself as a student. The only way to stay ahead is to keep learning." Thanks to this empty cup mindset, Leonardo DiCaprio not only maintained his excellence but continued to evolve into an even greater actor. Author Mark Twain once said, "It's not what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." If you remain trapped in past glories and feel content with what you already know, you will never reach new heights. Exceptional individuals dare to reinvent themselves, willing to let go of old beliefs to learn and grow. Steve Jobs once said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish. Always remain eager to learn and never assume you already know enough." A person's true value doesn't lie in their past achievements but in their ability to let go, start fresh, and become an even better version of themselves. Great minds dare to reinvent themselves. They shed the past, embrace change, and continually evolve into better versions of who they are meant to be. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, understood this better than anyone. After being forced out of the very company he created, he could have given up. Instead, he used that setback as fuel. He started fresh with Next and Pixar, honed his vision, and when the time was right, he returned to Apple, transforming it into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Your ability to adapt and think differently determines how far you go in life. As Warren Buffett once said, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Those who break free from limiting mindsets unlock their full potential. In the game of life, knowledge is a bronze medal, skills are silver, connections are gold, but mindset? That's the ace up your sleeve. The pivot mindset, knowing when to walk away and shift gears before you hit a dead end. The problem solver's mindset, turning obstacles into stepping stones and gaining an edge over others. The strength-focused mindset, identifying your greatest talents and using them to stand out. The empty cup mindset, letting go of outdated beliefs so you can continuously grow. The way you think shapes your destiny. If your mind cannot reach a new height, neither will your feet. The books you read, the roads you travel, the experiences you gather, and the people you meet, all of these refine your thinking and elevate your perspective. Keep sharpening your mind, challenging your limits, and one day, you'll look back and realize that you've stepped into a much bigger world than you ever imagined. If this message resonated with you, share it with a friend. Follow me for more insights on success, mindset, and wealth building. See you next time.